Hello and welcome. How are all of you doing today? Today, I am about to show you something incredibly stupid and potentially horrifying. Now, you may or may not already know what you're looking at. Let me play a few seconds of this. As you can see, it's something incredibly stupid. Living inside of a Lego machine. This is the brain of a worm functioning inside of a Lego machine. This is, to my understanding, C. elegans, a worm that had its brain mapped out in, I think it is 1986. And by using this mapped out brain, they were able to program it into this robot and have it operate in the real world. Now, this is actually pretty incredible to see something like this, and also has some pretty horrifying implications. But I want to move to something else, slightly more impressive, which is this fly's brain, which is this was done in October 2nd, 2024. It is the digitally mapped brain of an entire fruit fly, and they were able to put this into a digital program. That's right, the amazing digital circus is real. As you might recall, in this last episode, spoilers, in case you haven't watched it, go watch it, then come back. Kane mentioned that their brains were scanned and then uploaded to digital bodies.
I made a program that creates a body perfectly encapsulating their mind files, and they hate those too!
Very, very similar as to what happened with this fruit fly. And I'm wondering if that's the whole inspiration of this. Again, you have the digital mapping of their brain and then put into digital bodies, such as this. Now, let's see, where is it? And then using that digital body without any prompts, without any controls, the body begins to move.
Fruit fly and place the fly in fly move toward it. When the fly reached the sugar, the taste neurons on its mouth detected the sugar molecules just like they would in a real fly. These sensory neurons then sent electrical signals into the brain. The signals traveled to interneurons in the brain's taste processing circuits. These neurons analyzed the signals and recognized that the stimulus represented food. Other neural circuits compared this information with the fly's internal state, such as whether it was hungry. If the fly's system indicated hunger, the brain strengthened the feeding response.
This is crazy.
Soon, the brain's neural network activated a feeding behavior pattern. This wave of activity spread through connected circuits until it reached the motor neurons that control the fly's mouth parts. These motor neurons then sent commands to the muscles, causing them to extend the proboscis, which is the feeding tube flies use to drink liquid food. As the fly began feeding, sensors detected the movement and the interaction with the sugar. This feedback signal traveled back to the brain, allowing it to adjust and coordinate the movement smoothly. Through this continuous loop of sensing, processing, and responding, the digital fly behaved almost exactly like a real one, but it only recreated the neurons and the connections between them, exactly as they exist in the real fruit fly brain, their own from the activity of the network.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. A huge advancement in science, but also incredibly terrifying. Just thinking of the implications of that. Imagine having a human brain mapped out in a digital world. It would quite literally be TADC. And you would want to make sure this computer is completely offline. You would not want a human mind in the digital world to have complete unfettered access to the internet. Or at least I imagine. I think it would be catastrophic. I could be completely wrong. I don't think I am, but I don't know. I just feel like you wouldn't want it to have access to the internet. This would be absolutely insane. I'm just blown back at this. But the hope is that they're going to be able to gain insight into human brain disorders, so neurological disorders and stuff like that. Because by mapping out the brain and seeing what's going on when and where, we can actually more accurately see what's going on with brain disorders, if there's any ways to fix them. But we are still a long ways off. The worm brain only has about, I think it's 307. Okay, it has about 302 neurons. Let's see, which one is this? Fruit fly larva. So the fruit fly larva has about 3016. However, yeah, so where the worm had about 302 neurons, the fly has 139,000 neurons, just about, which is a huge leap. Now, from what I can tell, they're really trying to get a mouse connectome going, because they're one of the easier mammals to actually be able to work with, and that's why most of our scientific research is done around mice and rats. And then eventually be able to work with human brains. However, with a mouse, you have somewhere between 70 million to 100 million neurons, whereas a fruit fly only has about the roughly 140 million neurons. I'm sorry, 139,000 neurons compared to the 70 to 100 million neurons of a mouse. And then humans have so much more, about 86 billion neurons. So it is a gigantic leap, but already we've come so far. But that just makes everything just seem so much crazier, that you can actually trap a fly within the digital world. Guys, the future is weird. We got the amazing digital circus for flies before we got Grand Theft Auto 6. Anyway, that's all for today. I thought it was interesting. I thought it wasn't something I knew about. So if I can share something that you didn't know about or that you thought was interesting, I just think that's cool. Well, anyway, sayonara later and goodbye.